Hello viewers and readers, I hope all is well with you. In this video, we will discuss the US attempt to bust the Iranian blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Just yesterday, I did a Substack article stating that the ceasefire was holding for over a week, but it seemed I spoke too soon. Earlier today, the US began a limited blockade busting operation. I have been working feverishly to gather the proper information from open intelligence sources so I could put together this video explaining the situation clearly. Firstly, there is still quite a bit of fog of war in the region. Honestly, it is all quite a bit suspicious, since before the ceasefire my sources were generating data in almost real time. However, today, there has been a lag, and this is one of the reasons for my delayed production of this video. The lag could be caused by systems that have gone into hibernation since the ceasefire, needing to be spun back up. Almost everyone was caught off guard by the exact date of the operation commencing, so this is a viable reason for the lack of hard intel coming out of the region available via open source. The facts at this moment are: 1. The US has deployed an unusually large number of aerial refueling tankers over the strait area. 2. These airborne assets are being heavily protected by air and naval assets. 3. There are a multitude of US air assets flying in the black in the region. This is usually indicative of US intelligence gathering aircraft. All of this points to one glaring plan to me. The US is using a double ruse, where they are challenging the Iranian blockade subtly, while at the same time they are using heavy air assets to map out Iranian strongholds and launch areas that may return fire upon US assets. This is textbook Western military doctrine and has been used heavily by the Ukrainians in the war there. However, what we are seeing play out today in the skies over the strait and the strait itself is at another level of sophistication. The US has had 2 weeks to load up on every type of ordnance imaginable. They have had time to carefully position their combat pieces exactly where they wanted them to be, with the foreknowledge of what they assumed to be the maximal Iranian capability. Iran's response has been well thought out. They have retaliated against Gulf countries, most notably the UAE, which has thrown in full support with Israel and actually has Israeli troops operating from their territory. The Iranians have placed the major UAE port that has been used to bypass the strait under their blockade zone, and they have hit the refinery located near there. The Iranians claim a US warship was hit. The US claims they were not hit. The US claims they sunk several Iranian fast attack boats. The Iranians haven't responded to that claim as yet. The fog of war is thick right now. Oil markets have responded with chagrin. Oil is marching back up. US gas prices will continue to rise. And most importantly, the last shipments that made it out before the closure of the strait are finally unloading. The US execution of this blockade challenge has been textbook perfect in its execution. I would expect no less from the US military now that it knows that it isn't business as usual, bombing goat farmers or such. The respect is there on the field of combat, even if the administration doesn't really understand the meaning of that word. To respect someone, you must acknowledge that they have traits you admire. When you believe all of those traits belong to you, respect cannot exist. The Iranian response has been no less professional and picture perfect in its execution. From all the intel I can gather, they have not given away the location of a single base that isn't already well known to the US. The Iranians have struck decisively and with a trained reflex directly at the jugular of their opponent. This is economic war by military means now. The Iranians can win only if they bleed the US economically. If they send gas prices in $4 states to $6 and keep them there long enough so the US population gets to say enough is enough and sweep the current administration from power in the midterms, setting them up for the garbage can of history in the general elections. Of course, the current administration may not sit there and allow that to happen. They could push their attack now that they are resupplied. They could escalate. States of emergency could be declared. A president who understands the power that posts holes in the US system could take advantage of such a situation to continue in power. I can hear my American friends saying, that can never happen in America. My response is, wasn't it in America that people were being forced to take injections of experimental drugs under the name of a vaccine to fight the new plague? Those who loved the vaccine are the ones waiting to sweep in from across the aisle, to once again do what they want under a banner of science, when it is quite clear they know nothing of science. Only time will tell, my dear viewers and readers. Who knows? By the time I finish publishing this video, the situation may have changed again. However, I will endeavor to do my best to keep you updated. Thank you for your time, dear viewers and readers. Until next time, bye.